Hello. Hey everyone. It looks like there's two viewers on here. Hi Victoria, thank you for joining. This is actually my first time doing a live stream, so I appreciate you joining. Thanks, Dope72 Dubs. I'm fairly new at this, so just trying to learn how to use this software that I'm using. It's called the Streamlabs OBS. Hi Juan, thank you for joining. It's nice to be able to see some live comments here. I do recall all these names as I comment through videos. Hey, you're off. Thanks for joining here. I really appreciate you all coming on board here. So just trying to learn how to. Are you able to see my screen? Are there any like technical issues here that you see? Well, I'm using a Investors Hub here. I recently just downloaded this app where I pay like $50 a month just to get some real-time data. I mean, I get to see like level 2 information, and that really helps me with seeing like the trends of what's going on. Um, yeah, I mean, if you have any questions that I can answer, please feel free to leave it in the comment section. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. But overall, I mean, today it seemed like the Dow Jones, S&P, it had a fairly stable green zone today. So it was nice to see, at least Riot blockchain uh, go up. I mean, Riot blockchain was at the low of like high 30s, and now it's back up to like $63. So it's nice to see it just bull running up. Now currently at $63. Current volume, even in the aftermarket, we see about like 28 million. I'd be happy to help answer any questions that you have. Let's say if you want me to look into any specific stock, I can answer. Hi Isaac. Yeah, I mean iBio's been looking pretty solid. We shall see above a $2 range coming up very soon, so I do expect that ticker to break out. I mean, just researching the company website, we do see that there's multiple positions open. I mean, just going to the company website, I mean, I like looking at just the overall company website just to see how it's doing. They definitely had revamped their website, and it looks a lot more modern, and it's nice to see the different rewards that they have here, but specific to the job positions. How do I get there? Okay. I mean, I was navigating through the website a few days ago. I was able to see all the different job positions here. I might not be accessing it correctly. However, I mean, let's just look at the overall pipeline. I mean, it looks much nicer than the prior website updates. But as you can see, there's an addition of ACE2FC here. So with iBio's product portfolio, we see it's iBio 400 for the swine flu. I mean, that's in phase 1 clinical development already, at least for like animal usage. Now with human studies, we do see IND enabling studies taking place. Looks like the licum subunit protein is in the preclinical trials. We shall see some toxicology data coming out very soon. So I'm sure Tom Isett will be announcing some news coming up very soon. So it's nice to see that iBio taking a forward upward trend. I mean, it went up to like 272. It went back down to the low $1. However, now we're seeing it grow to like the high $1. So I do anticipate, let's say if you are a swing or a long-term investor, there's future valuation in this growth stock. Okay, so here, Isaac, thank you for providing feedback. It's on career tab, like a drop down when you click on the subjects. Okay, so let me go. Okay, here. All right, so there's different tabs here. Okay, thank you for that. So let's look here. I mean, in the administrative, commercial, and technical bucket, there's the business development manager. Let's take a look at that position. I like looking at live positions so that you can kind of visualize where the company is headed. So this is to drive all stages of sales process from lead to closure. Let's see. Help devise a strategy for overall business and brand of iBio. Interface with supply planning, production. Report regularly on marketing and social media statistics. So overall, it just seems like this company, at least for this position here, I mean, it's all about growth, right? So long term, we do see that this company will grow. It's not going to shrink, that's for sure. I mean, looking at this company about a year ago, I mean, it was like in the low, less than sub $1, and now it's definitely has grown. But we'd hope for it to be up in the $7 range back when the announcement of like COVID-19 pandemic took place about a year ago. Today is actually the 1 year marker. So let's take a look here with this position. Jason, I'll definitely jump onto Sky, and then Dopes, I will look at AYRO as well, just to accommodate these here. But let's complete looking at iBio, and we'll continue on. So here, I mean, we're looking at a controller position. So this is dealing with all the finance, specifically with like cash management, accounts receivables, in the accounting sector. So someone with high experience with general ledgers, revenue, expenses, and I mean, just looking at the education experience, this is key here. I mean, CPA certification required, so definitely someone who has experience in just business analytics, finance, and a certified public accountant. So that will definitely help, having a controller in place to lead the finance program. Now we do see product manager for research and bioprocess. We do know that there's a partnership with companies in like Europe where iBio is a contract manufacturer for monoclonal antibody production. So let's look at product manager here. So as we know, there's a CGMP facility of about like 130,000 using the fast farm technology connecting with Texas A&M. Let's see what this person will be responsible for. So incorporate market research and voice of the customer, input to create robust product and market requirements. Okay, so degree in biological sciences or engineering, MBA. Hey, perhaps I can apply for this position. I have a degree in biological sciences and getting close to finishing up my MBA. Although I don't have the overall 5 years experience in marketing or product management. Okay, so that's that. Now we do see project management office director here. There's project manager. There's senior supply chain analysts. So this is interesting because, as the company continues to expand and grow and diversify, we shall see there to be more approved suppliers that iBio will be working with. So let's try to understand and see what this position entails. So this person will be focused on providing analytical, strategic, logistical, and tactical support for all supply chain functions, providing KPIs, process maps, supply chain implementation roadmap. This person will be focused on the business aspect of demand forecast, new activities, and demand and supply planning. Okay, now in terms of requirements, someone with a science engineering background as well as having process manufacturing experience. So this tells you that while the vaccines are being studied and evaluated, there can be potential that this company will start establishing and rolling out its manufacturing programs. Now here we're looking at Director of Engineering. This is a big time position here. Okay, now this role, the goal will be looking at the facility engineering, process engineering, automation, validation, maintenance and calibration, environmental health and safety, ensuring a safe and functional operating environment. Okay, so basically responsible for developing people, process, equipment, and facilities. So this role will be very big, at least for iBio, and I'm sure this will be a very intensive interview, at least even with the CEO Tom Isett. So I am confident that it will be a very experienced director of engineering, at least coming from like a large scale company, right? Because we know Tom Isett has come from like GE Healthcare. I mean, most of the clinical directors that's on board are coming from like large pharma companies. So I'm sure in terms of expectation, the leadership team is looking for, a person who can lead, motivate, and manage the overall day-to-day function here. So plan and direct all aspects of engineering activities, utilize good engineering practices, facilitate capital expenditures, thorough understanding of engineering systems in a CGMP environment that's FDA regulated. Okay, and then strong knowledge of biologics manufacturing, agile business leader, looking for a degree in engineering, MBA preferred, at least minimum of 8 to 10 years leading engineering functions in biopharmaceutical industry, clinical and commercial facility experience preferred. And definitely this is very important here, right? With Six Sigma lean principles, right? I mean, this is definitely continuous improvement, making sure that you have lean processes. Whenever there's waste steps that's identified in processes, what can you do? Gathering and assembling a team to rectify correct issues. So this is definitely going to be very important, finding someone with the Six Sigma lean principle experience. So I really do like the job requirements here, and as you can see, there's just a number of positions here. I mean, just looking at the two buckets here, there's also senior manager of facilities and maintenance, because now we know that production is going to be scaling up, so definitely you need management in EH&S for overall safety and for facilities management as well. Now let's look at research and development process. There's more positions here, right? I mean, there's assay development technician, there's director of analytical sciences, head of fibrosis disease area. We know there's the iBio 100 that's ongoing. There's head of oncology, right? We know there's the CDMO contract going on where iBio's Fast Farm is supporting the oncology sector as well, so that's looking solid. There's process development research associate, process development scientist. So overall, there's just a number of positions here, and I do foresee growth for iBio. So this is looking good. Let's go back to looking at the actual technicals here with iBio. All right. looks like there's a comment here about, Jesus Christ. Definitely, you know, having that spiritual side is very important, at least, with investing. It's always important to have a spiritual side. I mean, I tend to do my spiritual, like, meditation and prayers before even the stock market opening, and it's always good to have a purpose in life. All right, so we're looking at iBio. Now, we all know the ticker symbol is iBio. I mean, what I really like about this site is it gives you like definitions too, right? Okay, so there's the stock price, right? This is the price the most recent trade for iBio stock was executed. Definitely, I agree. 100% we invest in Jesus. That's the most important thing here. Hi, KTOV. Thanks for providing that feedback there. Company found 1 billion in oil reservations. Company has a tiny market cap too. I will touch on all these aspects here from top to bottom. Let me just continue going through iBio since there was a request from Isaac. I just wanted to make sure I provide a thorough analysis here, right? Because just wanted to add value and share with you how I actually do my research before I create a video. Now that I'm doing a live stream, this is my first time, so please bear with me. Hey, look, it's going up in the aftermarket here. So change percent, in terms of definition, right? What is change percent? It's percent change is a difference compared to the previous close. So percent change is calculated by current price minus previous close price divided by previous close price times 100 if you want to do the mathematics there. Definitely, Jason. BLSP. I mean, I'm hopeful with that company. I know there's uncertainty, but we know that as long investors, we follow companies that have a purpose in life, adding value to society. It will have a strong growth prospect. Now, in terms of bid price, we see 176, 178. The spread is 0.02. I mean, looking at average volume today, the average daily volume during the most recent 30 days trading, I mean, we see this in the 15 million. I mean, from a 52-week range here, right? I mean, 76 cents. This was before the COVID-19 pandemic being announced, and it went all the way up to like 7.85, right? That's just crazy, crazy news. Now, let's look at just the 1 month trend, okay? As you can see, it did hit a $2.40 here, and the question is, can it V-shape back up? I definitely do feel like it because this is the price floor at the low $1. You know, it had that low 150, 140. Now it's climbing back up. Now let's expand this out further out. Right? Look at this time here when it reached above $7. I did not sell a single share of iBio when it reached $7. I had like at least more than 10,000 shares in iBio. I didn't take any profits at that time because I'm a growth long-term investor, and I like going with growth value stocks, so I tend to look at things from a long-term perspective. Had I known that it was going to take this downward dip, I definitely would have taken profits. However, it's just hard to be able to assess that. So this is beautiful. I always said I never hear nobody incorporate God into the stock market until I ran into you. Definitely subscribe. Hey, definitely. It's always important to, have a purpose in life, and, it's not always about making money, right? And how I see it, always having that spiritual side, knowing that everything that you do, it's in God's will. And I mean, that's how I look at life. And that's very important, at least with investing and things that I do even before investing. I mean, I wake up, I put a smile on my face, I start reading, and then I start meditating, I start praying, and then I start doing my run. And then, the stock market opens, when I'm on my run, I can check on the performance, and it's much better when you get out there and when you just lift yourself up before you actually start looking at the computer screen. Options trading. Thanks for asking. I do know that options trading has been very common, I mean, with puts and all that. However, for me, I try to keep things simple. I know that, you know, there has been like a Nobel Prize winner who got the Nobel Prize from basically validating that as humans, we really can't time the market. And that's why it really puts me into believing that when you identify stocks, high quality stocks at a very low price, in the long run, it can mature in future valuation. So that's why I tend to pave away from options. But I know, like, just by hearing out other people, it seems as though options trading is just becoming much more of the norm. Um, I've been hearing, like, with Apple, when you have options in Apple, I mean, Apple hasn't been changing in terms of going up or down, so people are like experiencing options trading with expiration dates coming up very soon and not capitalizing on gains. So I'm an amateur when it comes to options trading. I haven't done so myself. I tend to keep things simple. I just like to buy stocks, and when I know it goes up to my target price, that's when I sell. It's more of the buyer seller's market that I focus on while taking away the time aspect. Um, I like to just keep things simple. But overall, just looking at the overall price target of iBio, I mean, let's say if you're a swing where you want to hold it for 2 to 3 months, I mean, basically it's trending in the right direction here. It's V-shaping up, and I mean, there's a number of positions that we've seen with the iBio homepage here with different careers, right? I mean, there's a number of positions. We know that it's growing, and it's nice to see the share price coming, on a bull upward trend. Now, Isaac, do you have any other questions before I move on to the next ticker down the list here? Just wanted to make sure I addressed everything with Isaac before I start going down. Um, Also, I just wanted to thank you all for joining this live channel. I mean, this is my very first time doing a live event, so any feedback, comments, questions that you have, please feel free to add it in the live channel, and we'll continue on. Okay, so next up is Ayro. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and type that in here. All right, so wow, it looks like it's been growing today. I mean, since the opening of the stock market, it's gained by 12% change percent, right? So again, what is change percent? It's the percent change, it's the difference, percentage difference compared to the prior closing. So let's say yesterday it was 79 cents cheaper. So that's the difference. That's how it gets calculated. And it looks like the average volume, I mean, it's up in the millions. This is looking good. Let's see if there's okay with comments today. I mean, it looks like okay. These are some old comments here, so I'm sure there's new comments coming in. But it looks like Ayro hit a upwards weekly price breakout. I mean, this was like 3 hours ago. It was mentioned in the news article just recently. I mean, let's look at the level 2. All right, so Ayro. Let's take a look at the stats. Okay, well, it's not too beneficial to look at Ayro. I do have level 2 for like OTC stocks. That's we know OTCs, there aren't any aftermarket trading or anything like that, so it doesn't provide much benefit there. But let's see. Overall, I mean, let's look at the 1 day. Wow, this is great here, just seeing that upward bull run. I mean, looking at a 1-year trend chart here, right? All right, so previously, back in 2020, it was hovering at like the high of like $10. It got up to about $11. It took a downward trend, and now it's V-shaping back up. This is looking solid. Let's look at some of what the people are saying. She's moving. It seems loading here was the strong buy. This was back in. Okay, these are some old comments like what I was mentioning earlier. Let's look at the financials. Okay, so in terms of market cap, we see that this is a $192 million company. 52-week high is 1060. We know that it's currently $7. 52-week low 18 cents. So it definitely has grown. Percent float is at 91%. This company is a growth stock, right? It doesn't provide any dividend payouts. In terms of institutions, there's about 9-10%, so it's a little bit on the lower side with institutions holding on this company here. Now, insider shares owned, there's about 2 million. Now let's look at different data here. So we see 21-day percent change. It's been going at like 14%. PE ratio, this is something that I'd be cautious about. Although, let's say if company is doing well currently, this is looking at like really you're looking at the rear view mirror. But this is very important to see a positive price to earnings ratio. Currently, it's showing as negative. EBITDA, earnings before interest after tax, minus 691. Revenue, we see 821,000. So overall, I mean, let's take a look at the website. I mean, sector is in the consumer cyclical, vehicles and parts, based out in Texas, kind of close to iBio, right? So Ayro designs and produces purpose-built electric vehicles to enable sustainable fleets for micro distribution and last mile delivery with rapid customizable deployments that meet specific buyer needs, spearheading the transition to EVs. Okay, so just looking at the overall purpose, we know that it's in the right direction, in the right sector, right? And it's driven to deliver and execute. Now the trend, efficiency and sustainability, supporting zero carbon footprint. So as you can see, this company is supporting the whole, pushing for adding value to society. It's, focused on environmental friendly products. Looking at the products here, this looks like the solo vehicle, Electrica Mechanica. Here we see electric light duty truck works. So this can be, the future for, like I can see these in like the grocery stores or like, like big time, just seeing these cars deliver things in the future. Although there might be potential of like having, competitors in place. But overall today, it's nice to see that the share price had gone up by like 13%. Looking at a oops. Okay, so I hope that answers any questions that you have, dopes. I'm just going to go ahead and continue down here and then try to address different stocks here. So next up, it's going to be one of my favorites. Thanks everyone who had just joined. I haven't read through the comments. I'm kind of going through top to bottom, so SNDL to the moon. Sundial Growers, I mean, this was great at like 40 cents, and it's nice to see it run all the way up to like $2.80. I know its financials are going to be released soon, so I like looking at the buckets of like SNDL, Afria, APHA, and there's also like Cannabis Technologies, a different company where they're making like a detector for like detecting whether you are actively high with marijuana, and then basically that's like kind of like a DUI test for like alcohol. But there's no product out there that's available right now, so it can tap into like the market of like the police force as well. So that's something to consider. I mean, like 2 days ago, Cannabis Technologies went up by like 18%. That's significant. All right, so next up, I'm going to go to let me go ahead and open up my streamer here and just share with you the next request here. And that is, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and address Jason's question here. So any Sky catalyst coming soon? Okay, so before I look into the technicals, the pricing of Sky Bioscience, I have high conviction in Sky Bioscience. This was previously called Emerald Bioscience, and the company announced a change to its branding back in January. This was a company that was like hovering in like the $1.19 about 2019, and with the COVID-19 taking place, the company wasn't able to execute, and that's what caused the share price to start plummeting down. Up until September 2020, shareholders demanded for a new CEO, and that's why there was a change in the CEO. That's why there's Puneet Dhillon now, the CEO, who was previously at Inovio Pharmaceuticals and OncoSec, where he was able to uplist the company from like OTC to NASDAQ. And now when you look at where OncoSec is, it's maturing and growing in share price right now. So it's great to see what infrastructure that Puneet Dhillon has put in place for this company, because it's growing now. And now he's at Sky Bioscience making things happen with the laser sharp focus to execute. And that's why I firmly believe that this company is going to reach its prior resistance. It's not like, once it hits $1 plus $3 or $12, I mean, that'll be a new high. But reaching that $1 is very reasonable. It's just a matter of when that will happen. And we know that there's going to be significant catalysts coming up. Just recently this week, there was an announcement of having 2 new scientific board members added to Sky Bioscience's team. I mean, there's already Goldman, a reputable ophthalmologist from Stanford University. There's another reputable member from Mount Sinai in ophthalmology. There's experienced cannabinoid researchers, and the fact that it works with University of Mississippi, where University of Mississippi is the only institution in the whole United States that has been granted federal legal rights to research and manufacture and produce cannabis research. That just tells you that Sky Bioscience has most of the data, right? And in terms of catalysts, we know that the company announced that it plans on releasing its preclinical trials enabling studies data in Q2. However, I was watching one of the company corporate updates, and it seemed as though it can be Q1 or Q2. So there might be neuroprotection data studies being announced weeks from now, before end of March, because that lands in Q1, or that can be in Q2, where we'll get the comparison data studies on IOP levels, right? And just looking at the company website, I mean, if you're interested, I can share with you Sky Bioscience's data. I mean, just looking at the company information, let's look at the science information here. Alright, so we're looking at a corporate deck. This isn't me creating it, I'm just sharing with you data from Sky Bioscience here, but I have high conviction with this company. It's bioengineered synthetic cannabinoid derivatives designed to significantly enhance therapeutic benefits. So here, key preclinical data is expected in Q2 2021, and first in human data in Q1 2021. Now, we know glaucoma is just going to increase over time, right? I mean, this disease is very bad. I mean, you're basically blind where you don't see any like objects in your periphery. Now, one thing I wanted to point out, so what's the leading cause of like glaucoma, right? Well, it's increase in intraocular pressure, and it causes blockages, drainage in the eye, and that results in damage to your optic nerve. Now we know that there's a lot of innate receptors for CBD and THC on the posterior end of your optic nerve. So that's basically the drug product that they're working on, a prodrug to be added to the eye, where they have added amino acids so that it can bind with the backside of your eye, where it makes it more hydrophilic, because we know that, with cannabis and with your eye, cannabis is fatty, and with your eye it's hydrophilic. Now with the addition of valine hemisuccinate, it makes it hydrophilic, so once it enters the eye, the enzymes become inactive, and then it allows for the binding into the optic nerve. So that's basically what it is. Now these are the current drug products that are made by like top large scale companies, right? Latanoprost, Timolol. So you can see IOP reductions going down to like 30-35%. Now I wanted to show you the graph that really shows the difference here. I mean, we all know back in the 1950s, smoking cannabis does reduce intraocular pressure. However, when you're trying to get this into the pharmaceutical side of things, that's when you can't get the therapeutic high effect, right? And that's one of the great things about Sky Bioscience's product. It makes it hydrophilic. It's specific to reducing intraocular pressure, and you don't get that psychoactive effect, right? And that detrimental drops in blood pressure, let's say for like very weak patients with a weak immune system. We know oil and water don't mix well. That's why they've bioengineered their product. Okay, this is the organic chemistry molecule to show how it was made. Now this is the graph I really wanted to show you all here, right? And this is all being done in animals at this time, right? We know that, with rabbits, it has been used as subjects, with their big old eyes, perhaps. But latanoprost, look, that's in green here, right? THC VHS is this brown line here. Timolol is a known traditional product that's used as well, made by like large pharma groups. Now, over here on the left, this is IOP. So the lower, the better. We want lower IOP because higher IOP will cause glaucoma, right? And this is time duration. So the lower the line, the better. Now, the lower the line with respect to time, even more better. Now, looking at THC VHS, look, it dropped the IOP levels down at like 240 minutes duration. And while it's dropped significantly, compared to like the main traditional drugs that glaucoma patients are using now, over time it still shows that it's effective in that it has that sustaining reduction in intraocular pressure. And let's say post 480 minutes you can add another eye drop, perhaps, depending on its indications for use in the future, and it can grow. That's why I feel like this is definitely a disruptive stock. And in terms of catalyst, to answer your question, Jason, catalyst would be the data on neuroprotection, right? Because to date, there's no drug out there that has an intended use for neuroprotection, and that's why I firmly believe that it can add value. So, hey, I'm just now scrolling down to read some comments here. So, sky high, the sky's the limit soon enough. This company might call itself Space Bioscience after going beyond the sky. Looking to pick up another 500K shares of Sky before blast off. Wow, John, you are a big time investor of Sky. I do hold Sky as well. Now, one of the interesting things here is that it's not clear on what causes neurodegeneration of the optic nerve in patients, right? Well, of all the glaucoma patients, when you look at a pie, a third of glaucoma patients have normal IOP levels. So, hey, let's say even if glaucoma patients have normal IOP, they still want to be protective and prevent themselves from getting glaucoma into like different severity states. And that's why once this company is able to demonstrate and validate that THC VHS can provide neural protection, that's $1 billion sector. And it can definitely add value in the future for just the ocular sector. Now, just looking at timelines, right, in terms of catalysts, we know that in Q1, it can definitely announced neuroprotection data. Q2, we definitely know there's going to be the head-to-head preclinical study of Ropressa and latanoprost. Like even I've been getting comments from like real actual glaucoma patients where they're saying that the current drugs that they're using for glaucoma is not working. They have to like also also use like steroids to help with the reduction of the IOP levels. So it just doesn't seem like they're quite confident with the current traditional drugs that's in the market right now. So that's great just to hear from like voice of the patient, right? And just knowing that you have a bioengineered cannabinoid drug product that doesn't get you high but provides the therapeutic benefit. This might be a paradigm shift to looking at unlocking the potential in like pharmaceutical science, leveraging cannabis. So I'm excited. All I see is W, gaining on positive proceeds, leading with an altruistic mindset. That's the whole purpose of this channel here. So it's not about making money, but it's definitely about adding value into the lives of others, and what can we do to have a growth mindset. Now we know that CBD VHS, there aren't any indications for use yet, but let's say once this company is able to see the benefit that it can add in the future, it can get into different intended uses. What if THC VHS can be used on dogs and animals, similar to like Zomedica, right? I mean, I was recommending that stock when it was like 7 cents. I mean, I remember telling my dad to get into Zomedica like when it was like November, December last year. It was like dead at that time, right? In the single digits. And then all of a sudden, come late December, it skyrocketed all the way up to like 283. Can you imagine how much positive proceeds you would have obtained? But yeah, it's great to see here FDA pre-IND meetings, IND submissions to allow US trials. So this is looking solid. We know that there's the board of directors here, Puneet Dillon, who previously came from Oncosec and like Inovio Pharmaceuticals, scientific advisors. We see a professor of organic chemistry here, Mount Sinai, Robert Rich, Goldberg from Stanford University, Pasquale from Mount Sinai, and we have Eduardo Munoz, professor of immunology, and also 2 additions of scientific advisors from Spain and Italy, University of Spain and University of Italy. So I do anticipate potential like EU investors coming in as well. So I hope this gives you more insight on the potential growth of Sky, and this is why I have high conviction in this company. Definitely a disruptive company that can add so much value to your investment portfolio. Hey, Noose. Danny innovating with live streams. We going sky high. Hey, Noose. Yeah, just wanted to just give a shout out to Noose. I mean, this guy here, man, I love this guy. I mean, we talk on a daily basis. I just view him as like one of my great friends, and we've just developed that connection. And it's been like months, and I hope to meet Noose one day. I mean, I've had my video conferences with him, like one-on-ones, where we talk internally. We make strategic plans on how to improve ourselves. He teaches me things like, what to invest. Like, it's about what you invest in and how you invest in things, right? So we know when we buy stocks at like high peaks, well, how you invest is very important, because when you start buying stocks like when it's like running up, what if it goes down? That means you're at a high cost average. So we came up with different criterias in place, and it's great to put our minds together. And I'm just so happy that I met someone like Noose, as well as all of you, in this channel. And I'd love to, be able to create that, that friendship where we can add value and, just not only just gain on positive proceeds, but what can we do to align with our purpose and grow together. So you're welcome, Jason. I'm glad I can help. Ronaldo. So, I mean, just reading all these comments, I mean, especially with John wanting to get, more shares of Sky. I mean, I'm sure other people want to get more too because if and when it starts going up to $1, that's when, most people are going to be like, I should have, I could have. But hey, I mean, it's always good to, to plant the seeds early on because as the company becomes more attractive long term, that's when, you know, um, investors start flowing in, and I'm positive that the inflection point for Sky Bioscience will come at least like phase 2 clinical trials, so possibly sometime in 2022 when companies start seeing the preclinical data and the safety evaluation data in phase 1 clinical trials from patients in Australia, then that's when the buy-in takes place, and I'm glad to see, you know, um, this company gain in terms of attractiveness. Okay, so Moral, I'll definitely catch you on the Agenus, AGEN. I definitely like their product portfolio, but let me just go ahead and go from top to bottom here so that I address all the comments. Okay, so any SAMP or INND catalyst coming? So we know that with Santo Mining, I know there's different viewpoints of this company. I mean, I do hold a small portion in this company. I mean, there's been negative news on the company. This company either has been running or like has been dropping. It's part of that whole Cardano talks. We know that it has a facility in Vietnam. I mean, the question is, will it tank or will it grow? I mean, I'm just taking a risk. I have a small percentage in that company. I'm not even like day trading or swinging that. I'm just leaving that long term just to see if it could potentially gain in the long run. So, not too much conviction in that company, although I just wanted to plant the seeds there and see if there's any potential. I like it because, I mean, just looking at the volume, uh, Santo Mining, I mean, let's go to the OTC sector here, SAMP. It has about, it was in the billions with volume, and now it's in like the 343 shares volume traded. Today it went down by like 7 cents. At one point I was up by like 300%, but it erased all away once it V-shaped downward. So there's risk when it comes to OTC stocks. So I just wanted to emphasize that too. Let's say if you are a new investor and you're looking at stocks, please understand that whatever risk you're willing to take, just make sure that you make the right decision as well, because in the OTC market it can fluctuate a lot. Although when you find the right companies and you plant the seed and you invest long term, it can add so much value. And that's my take with INND. So Juan, I wanted to answer your question with Interscope Hearing Technologies. What are the catalysts coming soon? So with INND, I mean, this is a value add company, right? I mean, when you look at companies, they can either produce a want or a need. I mean, you can want so many things by watching TV, right? Like I can watch like a commercial and I can like say, hey, I want that, I want that, I want that. But when it comes to medical, biotech related products, that's when you jump into the whole realm of like, hey, you need that, right? So just recently I had like a ear infection where my my ears started getting like itchy, and then I wasn't able to hear as well, and I was like, wait, do I need an INND product? I went to the doctor's office. He looked at it. He said, okay, it's infected, there's no damage to your cochlea. So I was happy. He did prescribe me on antibacterial, where I used it for about a week, and that really mitigated the bacterial infection. Now I can hear again, so it's great. I don't need a medical device, but that's a need. I needed that, antibacterial, and that kind of reminded me of like Sky Bioscience when I looked at the bottle that I picked up, a little small bottle for like $120. Like if you don't have like uh, insurance to cover that. Now, similar with INND, let's say if you're born with a hearing problem, or let's say you acquired a hearing problem, that's going to be a needed product. So in the long term, I do feel like INND will be a company that can take off. Today it did drop by like 10%. However, it gained yesterday by like 18%. Just looking at the technicals, I do like IND overall. I mean, especially with Matthew Moore, the chief executive officer, he's been just so transparent, and I like how he's been just announcing so much data with Catalyst. I mean, it just had, Health IQ app uploaded to the Apple Store as well as the Google Store. So that's just great, just seeing that now you can you know, leverage your phone to change the parameters of your hearing aid device. It also has its hearing aid device for sale on Amazon and Walmart. So it's part of the whole e-commerce business. We know e-commerce is growing year over year. So that's why I firmly believe that it can, just grow continuously with IND, and that's why I do have, investments in this company as well, overall. Now, just looking at the overall share price, right? So see, it went all the way up to 7-8 cents, you know, and let's say if you waited 2 to 3 weeks after that pullback, and if you bought in at the low, I mean, you're in a good state. I mean, let's say if you got it 1 cent, 2 cents, I mean, this could really just be a set it and forget it. Where, I mean, in the long run, we know that cash flow is going to be coming. We know revenue is going to be coming as people start clicking to buy these products. We know that it has kiosks that's soon going to be rolled out all around the United States. It's kind of like getting your car registration sticker, right? At the end of the year, where you got to get your smog test, you can go to a kiosk at Safeway and purchase it. Well, they have these kiosks where you can test your hearing performance for free and see whether you are compatible to benefit from their product. So overall, I mean, the fact that the company has a solid purpose to advance medical unmet needs for patients dealing with hearing problems, the fact that it follows a e-commerce business. One moment, I gotta respond to my girlfriend here. Okay, thanks for that. All right, so I mean, it has the business to consumer strategy in place, and we know that it has a stop sign, unfortunately. However, come March of 31st, I'm sure that the stop sign will be uplifted. Um, so that's coming very soon, and good news will be coming with INND, and I'm sure that there will be sales coming because this is a needed product. So let's not underestimate what uh, this company can do for you. All right, so I'm just gonna go down the list here as well. I just wanted to read all the comments here. Hey, you're welcome. I appreciate the value add comments here that you say. iBio, Sky, BLSP, all in. Does anyone here? Uranium plays. Next bill run is uranium. Hey, thanks for sharing that, okay? We're all about, just adding value, sharing information. Hey, Noose, we're a team, and every sub here is part of the United Geese Gang family. Yep, definitely. This is the Quack Squad here. All right, so I'm just going to continue up here and just go down the list. Let's see. Hey, Newt. Thanks for asking about iBio. I mean, I went through a deep dive analysis on iBio earlier during the live chat, but I definitely can touch on that again. We looked at the company website, we looked at the trend chart, we looked at the finance. So let me know if you have any particular questions. I can cover that. Now I'm just going to go down the list here. So Agenus, right? AGEN. Oh man, I love that company. I mean, wow, it's nice to see that it run all the way up 5% today. I mean, it went up by $5 and then it went back down. But let's say if you're trying to hold this for several months or up to a year, I mean, that $5 is easy for it to come back up. It's part of the whole, COVID-19 solution, not the vaccine business, but it does have drugs in place for patients, on the bedside. Now, just with the message board, let's see if there's any information that we can gather here. Now, this is a biotech company focused on cancer and infectious diseases. It has, you know, drugs in different phases, right? So it has phase 3 clinical trials product for lung cancer, melanoma, malaria, shingles. Phase 2 for Alzheimer's disease. It has phase 2 clinical trials product for glioblastoma, which is like brain cancer. The neurological tumors, herpes virus. Phase 1 for genital herpes. Um, so it's working on a wide range of different products. I like companies based out in like Massachusetts, high quality value add companies. Standard of living in Massachusetts is solid, so it can, add value. And let's say if you're questioning whether it can run up to its prior resistance, it almost broke out nearly like $6. I'm confident that it can, and it's taken a downward trend since like February 8th. However, I do think that this is definitely undervalued here at this time. So let's not lose sight of what Agenus definitely can do for you. Looking at just some posts here. So there's new responses on the AGEN 1181. There's just a lot of posting going on with this company. So it's looking solid. I definitely feel like Agenus has potential to reach its prior resistance. If held long term, it can make a run. Definitely, that's something that we shouldn't exclude. Let's looking at the 2-year trend chart here. It reached that high point of above $5, and it's at that low point. So that's my takeaway with Agenus. So I hope that I was able to answer your questions, Moral. And if you want to look at the company website, I can pull that up too. But with interest of other requests, I'm just going to continue on here. What are your thoughts on AABB? So I don't know what AABB is, but okay, let's take a look here. Thanks for your question, John. So this looks like it's Asia Broadband stock price. Dollar runner on Friday. Okay, it's at 14 cents. We're looking at a 3-month trend chart here, and let's take a look at the technicals. So as you can see, it did make a run all the way up to like 55 cents towards like late February. However, it's been trending down. Let's say if you're trying to invest in this company, I would apply like the 3-week criteria rule. Just, if it does continue to go down, just wait for like 3 weeks if you're trying to consider investing in this company. Just looking at this, companies can't grow that fast, so we shall expect to see the bears entering and trying to gain on shorting the company. But I would just wait and just see where the new price floor takes place for this company overall. That's just my takeaway with where this company is, but it's definitely run significantly overall. So I hope that answers your question. So going down here, thanks for your answer. I haven't done any options trading until this week. After your videos on RLT, I figured I would buy some calls, and it paid off well. Hey, I'm glad that my insights on Riot blockchain has helped you out. So thanks, and I appreciate the comment, and just please make sure to continue following for high quality value add picks that I share with you. All right, so thank you for sharing your experience, Momin, on your options trading. Okay, so Gerard, thanks. BNGO, BioNano Genomics, definitely a value add play. I know. With ARK Investments investing in this company, genomics right now is very big, where you evaluate like just biologics, looking at telomeres in your body. Doctors are able to like diagnose cancer earlier on, and BioNano Genomics, so BNGO. Let's see where it's at right now. So wow, it's gone up by 9% today. It's looking good. BioNano Genomics, it did hit $15 mark. I mean, question is, can it reach its prior resistance of 15? Definitely. I mean, the V shapes are coming, and we know that it has like a Sapphire product line as well. I believe that's a diagnostic for like COVID-19 mutated strains. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I identified when I looked at their website before. But it's looking good. I mean, back to single digits, we don't expect that with this company. It has a high volume of like 23 million. It's growing. It's growing. So let's not lose sight of genomics plays as well, because I mean that's where the demand is at right now. All right, so Ricey, yes, I've heard about that stock from my friend, and yeah, I definitely do feel like it is an underrated hidden gem stock. So Alex, thank you for sharing that with the community here. I've heard about that. Not too familiar with it, but my friend's been talking about it, and definitely has been gaining on the potential side. All right. So I'm just going to go down the list here. SNDL to the moon. Yeah, I mean, up at the resistance of 280, I mean, I'm sure that it can reach that number again. ABBQQ, I haven't looked at that one, so thank you for sharing that, AB. That's something new for me. So I'm just going to continue scrolling down here. Yeah, thanks, Jonathan. Yeah, I'm live now, and it's my first day actually performing a live event. So it's quite interesting because I'm getting comments, and rather than me just commenting back and forth, through text, dialogue, it's great to have live comments where I can just quickly answer any questions that you all have. So that's great. I put it on sale. Ronaldo, like I actually had to get this customized at like the lid store, so it's nothing where I had it like done by like a website or anything like that. I just went to you know I went to the mall and just went to a lid store and just got all I see is W, branded onto a hat. Just got a blank hat and just added all I see is W. Thank you though. Thank you. I appreciate it. Quack, yep. I appreciate you just noting that this is awesome content. I hope it helps, definitely. New Sky, I believe in the power of cannabinoids in medicine and wellness, so I'm a large shareholder in Sky. I'm also in AZFL, a cannabinoid extraction company. Wow, okay. Thank you for sharing that news, AZFL. Okay, so can I talk about Ricey? Okay, so let me go ahead and pull that up. Okay. Royce Rolls Royce share price holding. Okay, so today it was at 0%. In terms of volume, it's up in the million. We see total number of shares traded during the most recent stock market with 13,000 trades with the dollar volume of like 16 million. Okay, let's look at the technicals. I mean, this is an OTC stock. I mean, it was previously at like, wow, $3.50, and it went down to like the low $1. However, it's been climbing back. So I mean, if you think that it can reach its prior resistance, hey, it could potentially do so, right? I mean, back in 2019, it was like at $12, and it's slowly picking back up. The question is, when can it do so, right? I mean, here we have comments. I think BMW owns Rolls-Royce Motors. $10 coming, reaching its prior resistance. So let's see. Yeah, I guess that's all I can really share with this company. I'm not an expert at this, but just eating with my friend. I mean, he's been bringing this ticker up as well, so there's potential. So any news with the BLSP? Well, I know that BLSP, we shall hear updates this week, right? Sometime March 11th through possibly tomorrow. If not, I'm saying the 15th of March, where we will hear updates on the company in terms of where it's headed with, the unfortunate halt, of course, from SEC. However, just looking at the overall company's purpose, in terms of how it's adding value, I mean, it's leveraging like renewable waste and converting that into clean energy. The fact that it has partnership with Duke, and the fact that it has facilities generating revenue right now, I mean, it's just a matter of just paying the SEC and then just getting compliant. I don't know how severe it is, but if held long term, it can add value. I mean, right now it's sort of like a crapshoot right now. Whether once it's allowed for trading again, will the share price be deflated, or will it be more attractive for investors? We don't know that, but it's just a matter of when, and that's coming up in a few days. So that's Blue Sphere Corporation. Maybe thanks for joining. Looks like my girlfriend is on here. Her name's Jenny Ko. It looks like she just commented here. So you might want to check Ingo. You might want to check a medical stock from Australia, DNA repair and AIS stroke, as well as Fedelegal called Clinival. Thanks for sharing that. Appreciate you you sharing all that information. We're all here to share information, and it's good that we all can connect. All right, so Guillermo Chavez, thanks for your sharing knowledge and research, Danny. Following all your videos. Hey, thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. I mean, look, I have a cast on. I'm getting like I have like my finger wrapped because I'm getting the trigger finger. I'm typing a lot. Just responding to people, and the downside is I have to like minimize the use of me like using my left hand. I'm left hand dominant, and I have to just kind of minimize that because I'm hurting myself just doing so much typing and just trying to accommodate everyone's needs. So thank you, and thank you for all of you who are on here. Let's say if you just joined this live channel, the whole purpose of this channel is to add value, not only talk about stock investments, but ultimately adding value. I mean, building on a growth mindset, whether that's on the spiritual side. Let's say if you believe in God, where it doesn't have to be a specific religion, as long as we have that spiritual belief, we don't judge or anything like that. We respect everyone's religion, but it's important that we share on how we can develop a growth mindset. No one's perfect. We all make mistakes. We're all learning, and we're here to share information. So that's the whole purpose of this. Okay, so diamond handing BNGO since 90 cents. Wow, that's solid, Quack. I mean, you've gained over 1,000%. Congratulations on that, Quack. That's amazing. Hey, JMC Jin, any thoughts on Heat Biologics HTBX? Well, their GP96 product portfolio in the preclinicals. I mean, I'm excited, once they can announce their toxicology data and at least just work with University of Florida and just get their product in phase 1 clinical trials. I mean, with their reverse stock split, I mean, right when it happened, I mean, the share price did drop down. However, I mean, it's been on a upward trend. So let me just go ahead and pull that up real fast. HTBX. This is a vaccine company based out in Florida. I mean, it's going up. I mean, 8% gain here. I mean, let's look at a 6-month trend chart. Well, it's V-shaping up, and it was above the double-digit share price, and it's great to see it going up. And I mean, I can definitely see the V-shape coming. So that's my take with Heat Biologics. And in terms of volume, I mean, today it wasn't that big of volume traded, but at least it's over the 1 million. So it can gain back with its share price going up. So I've been bag holding Ricey for a few shares since last year. A91, well, if held long term, I'm sure you can gain back on that positive proceeds. It can make a run back up. We know that previously it was like hovering at the $12. I'm confident that it can continue to go upward. So what just happened with GME? Some news leaked of them building a 100-megawatt battery or some secretive project with Tesla. This stock went from micro to as high as $8. Have you seen? Oh, GMEI. No, I haven't. But that's looking very solid. Let's look at that. GMEI. Gambit Energy. Okay, so it took a 17% drop today. Looking at a 6, wow, I mean, it's definitely bull run up here. I mean, at the 0, and it's gone all the way up to the, like, above $6. I would kind of hold off on this and just see how the, uh, the performance of the stock takes place. I mean, looking at a 1 month trend chart, it may accumulate sideways. However, I just remain cautious about this. Uh, Hey, thank you. Yeah, I mean, my hand has just been twitching a lot, so I'm having like nerve damage, and I'm just trying to minimize the use of it. Definitely. So, BLRX. Thanks for sharing that, Moral. Let me take a look at the BLRX. I mean, if you can, also, let's say if you're suggesting any stock tickers, if you can kind of give some brief overview of the company in terms of what it does, that can definitely help out, interested parties here. So today, BLRX had gone up by like close to 3%. It had a drop from like, I guess people were taking profits at the end of the day here. But overall, just looking at a 1 month trend chart, 3 month trend chart, it did previously hover up to like $3, and let's see whether it zigzags quite often. Well, it's been trending in the right direction. I mean, just looking at it from a 1 year trend chart, even though we see like noisy ups and downs, it's going in the right direction. And I don't know what this company has like with products. Does it have a competitive product? Are there a lot of competitors going on with this company? But overall, it looks like this company has a value in terms of future value growth. Okay, well, thanks for stopping by. I'm glad that you're able to watch from the Netherlands. It's great. I mean, we're all here in California, so um, just wanted to appreciate you for joining in, and thank you so much for participating in my very first live stream here. So, any catalyst for HCMC? Thanks for asking, Naveen. Well, for HCMC, I know that they are a plaintiff and they do have a lawsuit against Philip Morris. I mean, that might be one of the biggest catalysts. I mean, Philip Morris has the money, right? I mean, everyone smokes cigarettes. They've generated income for many decades now, and to pay out a small company like HCMC, I'm sure they rather revert to just having a settlement take place as opposed to going to the full-on court process. So we know that HCMC has tons of different patents for its vapor technology, and in terms of like volume trading with HCMC, I mean, it's up in the billions. Healthier choices management, I mean, even today, like 4 billion. So this is a very common company here that a lot of people have been talking about. Its current bid price, asking price, small spread. As you can see, it's a tenth of a penny right now. Basically, it dropped 11%. But when this company runs, it can run, right? And I like its purpose where it has a niche in providing alternatives to vaping as well as providing organics. It has like large facilities in Florida providing organic fruits. It sells grocery items. There are competitors in this arena. However, with companies with a solid purpose, I feel like it can add value and grow in the long term. So that's my take with HCMC. Okay, so MMEX. Wow, today it's gone down by 20%. I mean, we would expect that there would be a V shape coming, but at this price, I mean, if you have conviction in this company, looking at it from a 1 month, I mean, it was at the 1 cent, and let's say if you park your money here, and if it shoots back up to like 1 cent, that means you're gaining on like significant positive proceeds, right? I mean, that's going to be quite significant if you take that risk of investing in the red, which is basically opportunity, because once you start investing, let's say when we look at this trend chart here, there are a lot of investors investing like at 0.05, 0.01, close to like 1 cent investing, and then it dropped. That's when you take the risk. But when you invest here and you do have conviction in this company, this is when you can gain on positive proceeds. When you invest at the time when a company bull runs, yeah, there may be companies that will continue to run. However, if it runs too fast, it can start, trending down. So that's why, this is, getting in at a lower cost average compared to everyone else. I mean, this is a buyers and sellers market, right? And there will be long investors, and if you are a long investor or a swing, getting in at the low, buying for cheap, selling for steep, that's key for winning in this market. So that's my takeaway. So it looks like I've, answered all the questions so far that everyone has. I'd love to see any additional questions you have, but at this point, I'm going to go ahead and just open up my streamer and just see what the current market's showing. I mean, Cardano, look at the volume of this, 107 million. This is huge. Bitcoin is getting close to 60 million. It's definitely going to run up above 60 million, 70,000, I'm sorry. One day it might, right, in the millions, but right now, definitely not. We look at Ethereum Classic, Ethereum. Let's say if you don't really like investing directly into like Bitcoin because you feel like the price per coin is so high, you can look at alternatives such as Ethereum, Ethereum Classic. One thing I like about ETC is when you look at like 2018, that's when like Bitcoin was running, right? Well, ETC hasn't reached its prior resistance yet. So looking at a 5-year trend chart here, 2018 it ran all the way up to $40, right? But with the news of like Bitcoin and all that running, it hasn't reached its prior resistance yet. That's why I do have my profits from like Southwest Airlines investment like long ago from like 2016 parked in ETC, because I'm just looking at it from a zoomed out perspective year over year, and I do feel like it can reach its prior resistance compared to like Ethereum. When you look at like Ethereum, it's much different. Let me go ahead and share that with you here. Now looking at Ethereum, just looking at the price points, year over year, we've seen that it's definitely past its prior resistance already, right? So that's sort of the difference. So that's one of my reasons why I decided to go with ETC. I might be taking a risk, but I'm just looking at, whether it can reach its prior resistance. Hey, Andrea Fasoli, I'm glad you joined here. Thanks for all. Good luck to you and to Zom today. Very nice with RLT as you suggested. Hey, I just wanted to say thank you, and let me show something. Mr. Fasoli, thank you for sending, quality Italian wine to me without me even asking. That was so nice of you to be able to do that. I really appreciate you being so caring and just sending me things that I don't even expect. So thank you so much, and I'm glad you gained on positive proceeds with Zomedica. Alright, so just going back to the streamer here. So definitely Riot blockchain has been running. What's significant is like Google. Google has been running as well. So let's say if you're looking for like high quality, low risk stocks, let's say if you're day trading, I mean, whenever you see a downward dip, especially when Dow Jones S&P takes a downward dip, investing in Google, when you see a low point, then you can gain on positive proceeds. I remember, doing some day trades like back during the COVID-19 pandemic, and I like doing day trades on like high value companies, right? Like high quality, big known companies, because these companies don't tend to drop. But let's say if the market drops, we know that it will dip back up. It's just because it's getting dragged down because of the market. Google, we all rely on it, right? Like with the Google search engine. So that's something to consider as well. Whenever you see a downward dip where the price is at a discount, where you're hoping to just hold it short term, then definitely uh, capitalize. Have a good night, Andrea. Thank you so much. I really appreciate everything that you do, and kiss your daughter good night as well. Thank you, James. I appreciate that. All right, now looking at Tesla, I mean, oh my gosh, I mean, getting in at the mid 550s, and now it's bull run back up to like 700s within a few days. That's solid. And just with Riot blockchain RLT at the low, um, borderline 40, $39, within a few days it's gone back up to like $64. It's almost hitting its prior resistance already. So that's looking significant. Um, that's a value add. I mean, looking at iBio, like what I just shared with you early on during this live stream, Inovio Pharmaceuticals, it's definitely at a low point as well. I mean, INO, it has 15 DNA immunotherapy vaccines. I like what this company is working on. I mean, this company previously hovered all the way up to like $35 at one point, back in July of last year. Um, Now I just feel like it's definitely undervalued, and if and when the VGX for anal dysplasia, cervical dysplasia is announced, then the share price can run up as well. So that's one thing to consider. I mean, getting in at the low, buy for cheap, sell for steep. So Inovio Pharmaceuticals did get partnership with Quagen, a very known biologics company, where it's focused on trying to support diagnostic testing for VGX platform. Okay, so Moro, thanks for that. BLRX is waiting on phase 3 results for cancer drug. Results out in April. That's going to be a very big catalyst. I mean, you look at eyes, right? Um, you see how it shot up from like $1 all the way up to like $15 with just approval of its product in phase 3. That's just significant. If and when BLRX can get a product approval on its cancer drug, that will definitely run as well. So thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate that. Now, Moment, thanks for asking. Okay, have you been watching VBIV? Definitely. VBIV is really undervalued at this time, and we know that it has the hepside B. I mean, this is undervalued right now. I mean, it peaked at like $4, and at 334 at the low threes, it can make a bull run. We know that it's going to, I mean, CEPI and VBIV are working together. That's big news. And the fact that it's based out in Massachusetts, I really like VBIV. It has hepside B that's going to be commercially distributed. It's already distributed in Israel, I believe, and it has plans, well, it already submitted its marketing authorization to commercialize in Europe as well as in the United States through FDA. And hepside B, we know that hepatitis B, I mean, we don't really have an effective vaccine for that. I mean, that's why people still have the hepatitis B. If and when it can, commercialize its product, then it can perhaps provide efficacy for patients all around the world here. So VBIV from a share price standpoint, though, we're looking at a 3-month trend chart here. I mean, wow, this can definitely be a value add play. I mean, the V-shape's coming above $4. It's coming with this company. There's just so much growth with this company, and I do feel like it can grow and add value, and this is something to consider definitely in the long run. I mean, at 334, I have firm belief that it can reach its prior resistance very easily. So that's my takeaway with this company here. Yes. So I mean, any other questions? Hey, Freddie. Oh, hey, brother. Thank you for joining, man. I'm glad that you're on here. It's great that about 7 months ago, like when I first started YouTubing, you were one of the first guys who, I was dialoguing with back and forth. Freddie O. I know you are a YouTube streamer too, so everyone take a look at Freddie O. Subscribe to his channel. He's a great guy who just has so much conviction in Afria by the ticker APHA. Like we were both investors of Afria. I know Freddie O still holds Afria because I mean at that time when we were talking about Afria, it was like at the single digits, like in the $3-4, and we all know that Afria shot up significantly. Afria like went up to like $20. Now it's in the double digit share price range. I mean, high quality based company out in Canada, right? We all know that. So I mean, it's looking good, and if you are trying to get updates from like Afria, Freddie O is the person to go to. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Freddie O, and I'm just now that I see Freddie O, I think of Afria. Look at this, 11% today. This is solid. And the question is, can it reach up to its prior resistance, right? We know that it was hovering at the mid 20s. It's coming back up, definitely for sure. But we were talking about this like early on 2020, like single digits. And if you just parked your money there, you would have gained on like 400-500%. I know Freddie O is making money on Afria at this time. I actually took profits and I relocated to different areas, unfortunately. However, I do have conviction in this company. I know that it can continue to grow because it's a high quality based cannabis company. And we know that with just politics changing, it can definitely grow continuously in the long term. And if you look at, just with the exports that it's doing with its dried cannabis products, it's continuing to increase its pound size year over year. So that's an indicator that this company is exporting. It plans to export to the United States in the long run, but mainly focused right now in like the European markets. So looking very solid. Hey Aiden, thanks for joining, man. I really appreciate all the support and love that you give. Thank you so much. Okay, so JMC Jin, video idea. Could you do an overview of your investing history from the first stocks you bought into to now and all the good and bad in between? Definitely. I mean, I can actually share that with you now. I mean, the very first stock that I bought was, a science company, and that's Thermo Fisher Scientific, TMO. My very first stock was that company. That was when I was 22 years old. That was like 11 years ago, 12 years ago. And what's interesting is that at that time the share price was like $42, right? Now when we look at it now, it's like close to $500. So throughout my investing experience over a decade, it has really shaped me to become a long-term investor, trying to find stocks that are high quality, that can add value. I'm not so much of a value investor. I'm more of like a growth investor where I don't expect dividends, where some people expect, return on investments through time. Well, for me, I try to find like high quality hidden gem companies and I just park it there. And, my first investment was that company. It was at $42. Now it's, close to 500. So that just tells you, when you find companies that can have a competitive advantage in the long run with either its product or service, then you know that in the long run it's only going to continue to increase. So that's basically my history in terms of how it's shaped me with investing. And with the COVID-19 pandemic happening, where you have sheltered in place, that's when I kind of focus more on like doing more of like day trading with the mindset of having long-term investment stocks in place as well. I did some day trading for a bit. I gained significantly. However, just with like the settlement issues happening, restrictions happening in my account, that really just turned me off. I didn't really enjoy it that much. So that's why I just, decided, let me just continue doing what I'm doing with my strategy and, just set it and forget it. That's basically how I invest. I'm a growth investor, growth long-term investor. So I hope I answered your question with VBIV. It's great to see all the followers that I tend to interface with. Um, other stocks, like Lamb Research, getting that at like at $71. AMD getting that at $12. Um, Afria $4. Riot Blockchain at like single digits. Zomedica like at 7 cents. Um, just finding those key undervalued stocks, just knowing that it has a purpose that can add value. That's how you really capitalize. Now, one stock that I Andrea, you have to go sleep, okay? I can't stop listening. That's very interesting. Now I'm working with the same more money in zone that I think is good in the near future and in the long. What about put some money in Palantir? Oh, PLTR. I mean that's that's something not to like ignore. This is a good company, right? It's generating revenue. It's a known company, high quality, and I wouldn't be afraid of this stock investment. I mean, held long term, you can gain. You can always add your stop loss. Let's say if you lose like 20% or like 30%, but definitely we see here, right? Palantir and 3M expanding relationships to build supply chain. So it's growing. This company will grow in the long run. Palantir overall. I know its financials look good. I mean, today it went up by like 8%. From a share price standpoint, it was hovering, close to like $40. Now it's undervalued. It can definitely make a run from my perspective. Just ask yourself, what's going to be your price target? Are you going to be a long-term investor, or do you want to hold on to this for like several months, 2, 3 months, or 4 months as a swing, where you'll be happy getting, um, profits right at its prior resistance? Will you sell at that point? And then will you reallocate the profits into other companies? So that's one strategy to also consider as well when you do stock investments. Once you gain on positive proceeds, you can pull out your initial investment and let your stocks go as a free play, or you can reallocate your profits into other stocks. That's one key way of like expanding your valuation and your wealth. Taking your profits and reallocating into other hidden gem companies that can add value. So that's one key thing to also keep in mind. I'm a firm believer of like finding key stocks that can add value, and that's why I have high conviction in Sky Bioscience. If and when once it reaches the whole dollar share price range, that's when I will start diversifying. I'll start changing my strategy into like more valuation type investments. Let's say if you don't have so much money where you're focused on gaining significantly now, then you take the risk of like finding growth stocks where they won't pay you dividends or anything like that. That's the difference between growth investing versus value investing, right? Where people want to find dividend stocks like AT&T get like a 7% payout of your investment. Let's say once you become like a millionaire, you know, having $1 million invested in AT&T with the 7% payout on a quarterly basis, that's solid, right? That's basically like financial freedom there. So just try to understand what your strategy is. Are you a value investor? Are you a growth investor? Do you like trading on a daily basis, or are you a swing? Or perhaps do you have multiple strategies? Do you do long-term investing with strategies in place to do day trades as well, where you have different strategies? Some people do that. There's people that do options trading, options as well. I'm not too big on that. I just like keeping it simple. I mean, the fact that there was a Nobel Prize winner who was able to uh, confirm that we as humans, we can't really time the market, with that whole timing aspect. So I eliminate that whole time out of the equation, and I just invest based on just valuation, attractiveness of companies that can add value in the long run. So hopefully that answers question, Andrea. But in terms of Palantir, I mean, I would look at like the Yahoo forums and just really see what everyone's commenting about this. But in terms of message board here, let's see what people are saying. At highs today, it's confirmed that it's not going lower than another good crush buy. I started to believe that this is. I bought in the other day, already up 400. Easy double here, still adding. So people have, high conviction in this company. I mean, it's definitely a company that is undervalued, I feel like, and it can run back up to its prior resistance of like $40. So that's just my take on Palantir Technologies. Its financials looking good too. So that's where we are with that company. All right. So Cannabis Technologies, this company previously went up by 18%. Let's say if you're looking for like cannabis plays, this is a company that has a technology that I feel can add value in the long run. I mean, it's a test device. Let's say if you're driving and you get pulled over, I mean, and if you want to get tested for cannabis, then this company has a product that can test for that. It hasn't been commercially available yet, but they just announced like a new model version. This can potentially tap into like the law enforcement, right? So that's one thing to consider with Cannabis Technologies. And one good one is CeeLo Waste Technologies, CMC. I mean, oh my gosh, this kind of reminds me of like Blue Sphere Corporation. However, it's just been running so much in terms of just growth, been bull running. I mean, looking at the technicals, I mean, the share price was like, this was like a penny stock, and it just bull run all the way up to like 121. CeeLo Waste, I would highly recommend monitoring. However, the question is, will it start trending down? But just looking here, January, right, like February timeframe, it was like below 1 cent, and it just went all the way up to like $1.21. This stock has been crazy. CeeLo Waste has just been growing so much, just going beyond the $1. So it's taking like medical run basically. Just take a look to see, what service this company provides. Why is it running up so much? Will it have potential to run down, or will it start, accumulating side by side before the next stair climb up? But this is definitely one ticker to consider looking into here. CeeLo Waste Solutions. Just wanted to share that insight with you with CeeLo Waste Solutions. So I've been on this live stream for close to 2 hours now, and I hope that this live stream added value for you. Hey Thomas, wow, it's like I'm trying to end the live, and then now I see Thomas join on board here. So it's just great that I see just great friends just popping up. And hey Thomas, I just wanted to say thank you so much for everything that you do. You always thank me for all the things that I do. I'm just so glad that we're able to connect through social media tools, and with conviction on iBio and Sky Bioscience. Once that time comes, we are growth long-term investors, and glad to be able to meet you in the future. And I hope that everything goes well, especially during this whole COVID-19 pandemic. But we know that things are coming back to normal, with normalcy coming back in place. And just wanted to just say, I appreciate your friendship, through all these times, because you've been consistently on board with everything that you do, with commenting, watching the videos. So it's great to have a friend like you. So just wanted to comment on that. Now, before I consider like ending this live stream, just let me know if there's any other you know questions that you have. I may consider doing another live later today, but I just got to figure out when I plan on doing live streams. It's fun. I mean, I find it interesting just seeing that there's a support system here that's actually interested in looking at some of the information that I share. So with all that ado, I feel like I've answered all the questions here, and thank you so much for really just tuning in, watching. This is my first live stream, so just let me know if you have any comments, ways for me to improve. I'm here to continuously learn, and you guys keep me on my feet to continue getting better. So thank you so much for tuning in. And Albert, thanks again. Riding my bike, listening. Thank you. You're Stanford, bro. The sky is beautiful. Wow. You're riding a bike and listening. That's really cool. I mean, where are you based out, Albert? Good night, Thomas. We will connect again, definitely. You have a wonderful night. Albert, are you like a Stanford student? I'm just wondering, since you noted, like, thank you, you're Stanford, bro. So I'm just wondering if you have any affiliation there. I'm just curious. Okay, definitely, Thomas. Quack Squad. All right, well, thank you all for listening. I'm going to go ahead and, wow, Stanford grad. That's amazing. Santa Cruz. Hey, I mean, you went to Stanford, brother. I mean, that's the top Ivy League school in the West Coast here. So, I mean, perhaps that's why you have a high conviction in Sky Bioscience, right? Because there's a Goldman from Stanford University, the reputable ophthalmologist. So, I know you like connecting with the alma maters from Stanford. I mean, one of the top schools on the West Coast. So, yeah, I remember like middle school. Went to middle school in the Bay Area, did like a recording at Stanford. Not like, I'm able to ever get into Stanford. That was, a school that I knew that was just so tough to get in. But I remember like playing volleyball, practicing. My friends and I, coach would go to like Stanford volleyball, men's volleyball, just watching the volleyball team there. Solid, you know, um, so it just brings back memories. That's great. I mean, Stanford Hospital, I mean, you get like one of the greatest care, at least, in the West Coast. On the East Coast, I'm sure there's like Johns Hopkins, all those great schools. But, I mean, all clinicians from all around the world are doing, great things right now. Um, but, those are like the leading pioneers, and I'm sure there's so many great, scientists, physicians, all different subjects coming from, Stanford. So thank you for sharing that, Albert. Okay, so Ria, so any updates with Zomedica? Well, I mean, if you're holding on to Zom right now, I wouldn't, I mean, it's all based on your, own research. But from a share price standpoint, I do personally feel like it can run up. I mean, True Form is going to be announced, so Robert Cohen, the CEO, will be announcing news soon. I mean, he has suppliers he's working with on how to scale up and roll out Zomedica. I mean, there will be some purchase orders coming from like the veterinarian sector. Will there be purchase orders from like Banfield for its True Forma diagnostic products? So just hang on tight, because April, May will be very exciting for Zom investors. So that's my takeaway with Zomedica. And from a share price standpoint, I mean, $3 to $12, I mean, if held long term, can be the potential. I mean, this company adding value in the veterinarian space should not be ignored from my perspective. So I hope that helps answer your question, Ria. Okay, so overall, I mean, thank you so much for joining this live channel. I hope that it really helped. I will continue to do more. I'll share more information on my schedule around my live content, and I will continue making like recorded videos and posting. But just thanks so much for watching. I appreciate your time, your effort, your questions, and I appreciate you all just joining today. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon, depending on where you are. And let's gain on positive proceeds and lead with an altruistic mindset.